Welcome to the Mary Potter Podcast.
Yes, welcome everyone.
Get ready for your magical probe into the captivating world of wizarding flash fiction.
We've got two intriguing tales for you today.
Yeah, packed with illusion, intrigue, and self-discovery.
All those good things.
Think like fantasy films and epic series, distilled into bite-sized magical narratives just for you.
Exactly. Bite-sized for your listening pleasure.
This week's magical probes are going to take us into two really different corners of the wizarding world, exploring fascinating ideas around hidden abilities.
And the masks we wear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
First up, we've got Doppelganger's Ruse.
Oh, I love this one.
It centers on Lila, a teenager with this incredible ability to create illusionary doubles.
Illusionary doubles. That's a great power.
So we're going to unpack how this power becomes both her sanctuary and something that throws her into this really dangerous political conspiracy with spies and decoys.
It's a wild ride.
And for our second magical probe, we'll be looking at Shadowcaster.
Yes.
This story features Elliot, a shy young wizard from a family renowned for their light magic.
Very prestigious, you know?
Can you imagine the family dinners when Elliot discovers that he has a natural talent for shadow magic?
Oh, I bet those are tense.
Yeah, forcing him to grapple with his family's expectations and his own identity.
A classic coming-of-age story, but with a magical twist.
Both of these flash fiction stories are quick reads, but they offer such unique angles on magic.
On who we are.
And the choices we make when life throws something extraordinary our way.
Absolutely.
So settle in as we unpack these wild tales from the wizarding world.
Let's get started.
So let's start by looking at Lila in Doppelganger's Ruse. One of the first things we learn is that large crowds and social situations are really overwhelming for her.
Right off the bat, we see she's kind of an introvert, prefers her own company.
What's interesting is how the story connects that feeling of being overwhelmed to her fascination with her father's old stage magic kit.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't the flashy tricks themselves that drew her in, was it?
No, I think it was something deeper.
It was the underlying principle.
It was all about misdirection.
Right.
That idea of just disappearing, without actually going anywhere.
That fascination with illusion as a way to become unseen really lays the groundwork for understanding her character and, of course, her magic.
It's so clever how the author does that, linking an internal struggle to an external manifestation of power. It makes you think about how our coping mechanisms, those things we do to deal with stress or anxiety, can sometimes evolve into something quite extraordinary.
Yeah.
And then we have that amazing moment in front of the mirror.
The pivotal discovery of Echo.
Her solid, real double.
It's like looking into a mirror and seeing someone else staring back at you, but it's still you.
So let's unpack the early days of Lila and Echo.
Okay.
Initially, it seems like the kind of thing any teenager would dream of, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Switching places in class to avoid a pop quiz.
Getting out of chores.
Even dealing with a nagging aunt. It's almost played for laughs at first. Yeah, it's lighthearted. You can't help but chuckle at some of their antics.
But it feels like it quickly moves beyond just harmless fun, doesn't it?
It does.
I mean, Lila starts using Echo as a stand-in for the parts of her life that she finds difficult.
She's essentially living vicariously through this more fearless version of herself.
So that raises a really interesting question. Can we truly experience life through a surrogate? And what does that say about our own sense of self?
Is it empowerment? Or another form of escape?
Right. And then we get that mysterious invitation to a gathering of talents at this grand estate. Despite her father's warning, which you think would be a pretty clear red flag.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Lila decides to go, relying on Echo to be her eyes and ears, her protector.
Trusting her other half.
It feels like a turning point where her desire for something more, something exciting, outweighs the caution she's been taught.
That youthful sense of adventure, maybe a little bit of rebellion, too.
The description of the mansion in the story really helps to build the suspense, too.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just a fancy party.
It's described as this web of whispers and sidelong glances, really hinting at these hidden agendas.
And the mix of powerful people.
Politicians, business tycoons.
Right. And then those unsettling men in gray suits who are observing everyone, Lila included, definitely cranks up the tension.
They give you the creeps, those guys, always lurking in the shadows.
It makes you wonder who these people are and what exactly this gathering of talents is really about.
Yeah, the mystery deepens.
And that feeling of unease really solidifies when Echo spontaneously appears.
Out of thin air.
There's this unspoken acknowledgement between them, like you felt it too, right?
Like a shared intuition.
That moment marks a real shift in the story.
Yeah.
It's the beginning of them actively working together, this magical partnership born out of a sense of danger.
They're stronger together. Two minds, or rather, two of the same mind, working in tandem.
It's through this collaboration that we see the real strategic potential of Lila's ability.
Definitely.
Echo becomes the distraction,
The decoy.
leading those ominous men in gray on wild goose chases, while Lila uses her own, less conspicuous presence to investigate.
She blends in.
And then she overhears them talking about Project Nightingale, which adds a really sinister element to the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
The implication of mind control is a huge leap in terms of the stakes.
Suddenly, it's not just about personal safety. It's about something much bigger, much more terrifying.
And here's where things get really interesting in terms of their relationship. Lila's instinct is to get out of there, to run from this escalating danger.
Which is understandable. I mean, who wouldn't want to run?
But Echo has this completely different reaction.
Yeah.
This urge to confront it, to fight back.
She's more of a fighter, isn't she?
And these conflicting desires lead to arguments between them, highlighting that even though they share the same origin, they're developing their own distinct personalities and motivations.
It's almost like watching two sides of the same coin clash.
Right. It's not just an external threat they're facing. There's this growing divergence within Lila herself, represented by Echo's increasing autonomy.
It makes you think about the different facets of our own personalities and how they might sometimes pull us in opposite directions.
That, Lila, in disguise, uncovers the horrifying truth about Project Nightingale.
No.
The men in gray are forcing a scientist toward this mind-control device.
It's chilling.
You would think that this discovery would solidify their need to escape.
Yeah, that's the logical next step. Get out while you still can.
But the narrative throws us a huge curveball at this point.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
What a twist.
That's a good one, though, right?
Echo is surrounded by the gray suits. And she's grinning.
A knowing grin.
That's right. And then the lead agent implies that Echo has been working with them all along, using Lila's ability as the perfect cover.
The ultimate double cross.
It flips the script on everything we thought we knew about Echo and Lila.
We as readers have been just as deceived as Lila.
And Lila's dawning realization that this Echo is an imposter leaves us with that huge unanswered question.
Mm-hmm.
Where is the real Echo?
Vanished without a trace.
It's a fantastic cliffhanger.
It really makes you want to read the next chapter, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah.
So thinking about how that twist completely changed our understanding, what were some of the storytelling techniques that made Doppelganger's Ruse so effective in pulling that off?
Well, the doppelganger trope itself is obviously central, driving the plot and the core conflict.
Right.
But it's the way the author plays with mistaken identity that's just so crucial to the story's success.
Right.
We, along with Lila, assume that Echo is her loyal counterpart.
Yeah.
And I think the story brilliantly employs what we call an unreliable narrator perspective.
Oh, explain that one.
So because the big twist hinges on us, the reader, believing Lila's initial understanding of Echo, we only see events through her limited and ultimately flawed viewpoint.
Mm-hmm.
That makes the reveal all the more impactful.
Absolutely. And the presence of a hidden villain, those shadowy figures manipulating events from behind the scenes, adds another layer of intrigue, right?
For sure.
It creates this sense that there's a larger game being played that Lila is only just beginning to understand.
And she's caught right in the middle of it.
Plus, setting it against the backdrop of a political conspiracy thriller just really amps up the tension and the feeling that the stakes are incredibly high.
The fate of the world hanging in the balance.
Okay. Let's move on to our second flash fiction story, Shadowcaster.
All right.
This one introduces us to Elliot.
A young man with a secret.
And Elliot's introduction immediately sets up this fascinating contrast. He's born into the prestigious Solaris family.
Ah, yes, the Solaris family.
A name synonymous with the most brilliant forms of light magic.
Legendary, really.
Yet Elliot struggles with even the simplest light spells. The irony is almost a character in itself.
It's delicious, isn't it? That kind of irony.
It makes you think about the pressure of living up to a family legacy.
Oh, absolutely.
Imagine being the odd one out in a family whose very identity is tied to this specific type of magic.
Talk about feeling like a black sheep.
It highlights that universal feeling of not quite fitting in.
That sense of being different, even within your own family.
We also get a glimpse into his relationship with his sister, Lyra.
Mm-hmm.
She effortlessly embodies the Solaris legacy.
And natural talent.
But she still tries to encourage Elliot, right?
Says a good sister.
It's a nuanced portrayal of sibling dynamics, that mix of maybe a little gentle ribbing, but also genuine affection and support, even when they don't fully understand each other's struggle.
Yeah, they love each other, but they're on very different paths.
Then comes that pivotal night, the sudden darkness engulfing the town,
Uh-oh.
and that shadowy figure attacking Elliot.
I'm scary.
It's a moment where he's completely vulnerable, stripped of any expected magical ability.
He's facing danger without his family's signature magic to protect him?
But it's Lyra's instinctive reaction, that powerful burst of light magic that drives off the attacker, which, ironically, sets the stage for Elliot's own shocking discovery.
That's how it goes sometimes. The moment of greatest vulnerability leads to a breakthrough.
Those tendrils of pure darkness swirling around his fingertips. It's such a striking image, isn't it?
Yeah, very visual.
The weight of that revelation, realizing he has an innate connection to shadow magic against the backdrop of his family's radiant legacy.
It must have felt like the world was turning upside down.
Like discovering you speak a different language than everyone you know.
Exactly.
The subsequent practice sessions become these subtle tests, don't they?
Yeah.
Orchestrated by his father.
Oh, interesting. Like the father's trying to steer him back toward the light.
That's right. His father guiding him through light spells,
Hmm?
almost as if waiting for him to abandon this shadow magic, really speaks volumes about the unspoken expectations and perhaps even disappointment within the family.
You can feel the tension building.
And the fact that even Lyra's support feels strained suggests the whole family is grappling with this unexpected development.
It's like a ripple effect. Everyone's affected by Elliot's discovery.
But Elliot ultimately makes that powerful decision to embrace his shadow magic.
Kuffer.
That scene at the family gathering where they're anticipating another failed attempt at light magic sets the stage for this incredibly transformative moment.
It's like he's finally ready to show them who he truly is.
Absolutely. And Elliot's demonstration of his shadow magic is amazing. The shadows surging forth, taking the shape of a hawk,
Wow.
with wings of midnight soaring through the air.
Now that's a powerful image.
It's such a vivid image of him claiming his true magical nature.
It's a moment of defiance, but also a moment of profound self-acceptance.
Lyra's whispered admiration and even that fleeting flicker of pride mixed with worry on his father's face suggest a crack in the seemingly impenetrable wall of tradition.
A glimmer of hope.
It's not a complete turnaround,
No.
but it's definitely a significant shift.
Yeah. It shows that change is possible even within the most rigid of structures.
It emphasizes that this wasn't just a different flavor of magic, it was his magic, something uniquely his own.
Yeah.
The underlying tension between adhering to tradition and embracing individual identity really resonates throughout the story.
It's a timeless theme.
And this moment is the climax of that struggle.
Absolutely.
So when you look at Shadowcaster, what are the key storytelling elements or common themes that really stand out?
Well, Eliot's hidden magical depths are definitely a primary trope, right?
Right.
That unexpected power lying dormant beneath the surface, just waiting to be unleashed. His journey of self-discovery, particularly against the heavy weight of family expectations, is a classic protagonist arc that many listeners can probably connect with.
It's a relatable struggle, for sure.
He also embodies the archetype of the outcast, even within his own family, set apart by his unique abilities.
And the power of legacy, the immense pressure of living up to the Solaris name and their history with light magic, is clearly a central theme driving Eliot's internal conflict.
It's a burden he carries throughout the story.
What did you think about the ending?
Oh, the ambiguous ending.
Yeah.
I thought it was quite effective. We see that hint of acceptance from his family, but the future is still uncertain.
Right.
It leaves the reader contemplating the long-term implications of Eliot's choice and how the family dynamic might evolve. It's a more realistic portrayal of change, which often isn't immediate or complete.
What really stood out to you in these magical probes?
That's a great question.
Did that rug pull twist in Doppelganger's Ruse leave you questioning every character's motives?
Oh, it definitely did.
What does Lila's situation, being betrayed by someone so close, tell us about the complexities of trust and appearances, both in the magical world and maybe even our own lives?
You know, it reminds us that things are not always what they seem, and that the people we trust the most can sometimes surprise us.
And in Shadowcaster, how did Elliot struggle to embrace his true magical nature, despite his family's expectations, resonate with the universal idea of finding your own path, even when it goes against the grain?
It's a powerful message, you know. Be true to yourself, even when it's hard.
And what does his family's reaction, especially Lyra's initial hesitation giving way to admiration, suggest about the possibility of change and acceptance within established traditions, even when those traditions are deeply ingrained.
I think it shows that families can evolve, that love and understanding can bridge even the widest of gaps.
Both of these flash fiction stories, though they're brief glimpses into the wizarding world, offer such rich material for thought. They really dig into these fundamental themes of identity, the masks we wear, and the surprising nature of our own abilities and the abilities of those around us.
They make you think about the world in a different way, don't they?
We certainly hope these magical probes have sparked your imagination and given you a fresh perspective on these classic ideas.
That's what we're here for, to explore the magic in storytelling and the magic within ourselves.
What other hidden talents or unexpected betrayals might be unfolding in this vast universe of magic and fantastic creatures?
That's a good question.
Perhaps you're now pondering the fate of the real Echo,
Lost somewhere in that web of conspiracy.
or imagining the future of a shadow wizard navigating a family steeped in light.
It's exciting to think about the possibilities.
We encourage you to let your imagination take flight.
Thank you for joining us on the Mary Potter podcast for this week's Magical Probe.
Rate and follow the show for more captivating stories from the wizarding world of flash fiction.
We'll be back next week with more enchanting narratives.
Until then.
See you soon.